Let's just talk about marriage and mental health. And one of the things that we don't really take, notice of, depends on the culture, depends on, where we come from really, is that we don't really take notice of mental health in people. And obviously, when we talk about mental health, we're not talking about maybe the person is insane or things like that. There are things that, there are plenty of things that could actually contribute to our mental health, whether bad or good, things like that. So mental health sometimes could be, something positive, it could be something negative. So sometimes we can be in a negative mental health where we just don't want to do things or maybe just feeling depressed and things like that. So there are situation like that where people can be depressed. And when it comes to marriage, it depends as well, and it's not gender based. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter whether if a male or female or wife or husband. Actually, anyone can experience a serious mental health issue. And when it comes to this, obviously there could be several reasons. Sometimes childbirth could cause that could actually be one of the reasons why some women are facing serious mental health battles, sometimes unfulfilled promises, things like that. There are so many things, like I think one of the most common one is actually, childbirth sometimes can change people. It can actually change the way people think. It can actually change their hormones, the way they reason about so many things. So it can actually change so many things in their body. But again, for men as well or for husbands in the family, it could be due to pressure, it could be due to several things, them not being able to fulfill their dreams, and so many things, several things obviously. And one of the things I do normally say is this, you need to kind of, it's one thing for you to accept. So acceptance is really, really important before even talking about signposting. So accept, obviously, that you need help. I think one of the things that people struggle with a lot is that they struggle to accept that they need help. And obviously, the earlier that you accept that you need that help, the better for you to actually, look into what solution can we actually provide, or how can we, or maybe how can your husband or your wife support you in that kind of situation. Now, mental health is a very bad thing, especially when it comes to the negative side of things. When it, like mental health wise, it can be very bad. There are people that struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle with this for so many years, and they just couldn't find any breakthrough, and they ended up committing a suicide. Obviously, that is not the best solution. However, I always say this: talk to someone, be open, especially if you're in a marriage, be open to your husband or your wife, let them know actually, like sometimes you might feel like maybe they might not want to listen, but I think it's very important to be open. One of the key step or the first step is just for you to be open. Understand your battle, understand what you are going through, and be willing to kind of pour out your mind, obviously, to kind of find solution. I do say this as well. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or female. Another thing, obviously, is go on a break, go on a vacation. It might still feels like it's there, obviously. And if you're the husband or wife and you feel maybe you don't feel safe for your wife or your husband to go alone to that vacation, simply because you feel like they might hurt themselves, obviously you can find a way to plan it together and go together to kind of have some nice time. And obviously, sometimes things that they might not actually share with you, they might actually share it during that vacation, because it kind of bring out a different mood entirely. Change of environment, obviously, like maybe change of where like your location, things like that. That could also help, which people don't normally consider as well. Like change of location could actually help. you know, that's why I said it is very important to understand the root of it, or maybe relieve your wife or your husband some duties in the house as well. Maybe chores, trying to do some chores, see how you can come in, how you can help to kind of relieve that stress. Especially if you've got kids, it can be very, very overwhelming as a woman, where you have to juggle so many things together. You have plenty of things to do, and you have to be there for the family as well. So it can be mentally, challenging for you to actually balance all those things together. And like I said, obviously, the last thing is to kind of speak to someone, like maybe helpline, things like that, or go to a therapist and just, to discuss about what exactly is wrong, what you're going through, and think, obviously, it's not the best solution for you to kind of act. Sometimes it's good to act out, but in the moment of you acting out, it could lead to something else. It could lead to something seriously severe that could actually lead to a jail or things like that. So obviously, it's best to avoid that as much as possible. And and then I'll say this again: the first and foremost step is to always be open. Talk to your partner, see how you can sort things out, see what, look at what is bothering you and how you can actually approach it. And if if you're listening to this and you feel like you need, if you need that help or you need further advice, just drop in a comment section and comment, drop your contact obviously, and then I'll kind of contact you, and then we can talk about things and things like that as well. But I know everybody's fighting one or two battles. It could be financial, it could be career wise, it could be, personal stuff, health wise, things, anything at all, but again, do not let it consume you. There is always hope there, for you. And I can guarantee you there is always hope. If you could just hang in there, there is always, they do say light at the end of the tunnel. And I'll speak to you again next week. Thank you very much. Bye.